Hi, I'm Chana Mizrahi. I'm the owner of Mazette Wigs. I frequently encounter people who express shock that it's possible to air dry a wig. In fact, I recently took a walk with a friend who also wears wigs and has been wearing wigs for around 50 years. She's a little bit older. And it started to rain, and she told me, well, there goes your wig style. It is styled right now. My friend Ayala Isaac styled it for me. She did a really nice job. But usually I just wear it air dried. It air dries beautifully. And I told her, no, it's just air dried. It'll just air dry again. No big deal. She said, what? But you must have blow dried it at least. I said, no, I didn't. I just washed it and let it air dry. And she said, no, you couldn't have. I said, yes, I did. This is somebody who's known me for years. She knows who I am and what I do and that I'm a wig expert. So it was funny that she was arguing this with me, but she was. She said, no, you couldn't have. You must have blow dried it. You have to blow dry a wig. I said, no, you don't. She said, yes, you do. I said, no, you really don't. She said, yes, you do. I don't know much about wigs, but I know that. I said, I don't know about that, but I don't know how much you know about wigs, but I do know a good bit about wigs, and I know that you don't have to blow dry them, and I always air dry them. In fact, every wig displayed in my salon is just washed and air dried, and none of them are styled at all until they're sold. And my own wigs are usually just washed and air dried, and I very rarely style them or get them styled. And she seemed very skeptical. So I was thinking about that afterward, and on reflection realized that while I never had anybody argue so hard about that with me, usually they just accept that, like, oh, well, you're the expert. I guess you know what you're talking about. I learned something new today. It is a conversation that I have pretty frequently where people express surprise that it's possible to air dry a wig. So I decided that should be a video topic. Also, fun fact, there are a lot of different tricks for air drying a wig. That could be a whole video all by itself. I once taught a 2-hour class on washing, and I don't do classes anymore. Just in case you watch this and you're thinking of asking, I do not teach classes anymore. But I once did teach a 2-hour class on washing, drying, and styling wigs. About half of it was just different air dry techniques. There are so many tricks for that, but I will do a little bit of that in this video. So first, let's just think about this for a moment and put on our common sense thinking caps. Let's think about what wigs are made of. Human hair, silk, even if they're lace tops and not silk tops, the lace itself is made of silk. So they're made of human hair, silk, a little bit of nylon. The elastic, the stretchy part is made of nylon. So yeah, human hair, silk, and nylon. Now let's think about that. What are other things in our lives that are made of these materials? Well, human hair grows out of our heads. We live with that every day. I would hope that you wash that regularly. Is it possible to dry that without a blow dryer? Have you ever dried your hair without a blow dryer? I hope so. If you haven't, I'm sure you have a lot of damage. Go see a professional about that, please. And get a haircut. just some friendly advice. But this is human hair, that's human hair. It's not, it came from somebody's head. It's not from a different kind of human. So it's not really different. It's different in certain ways because it's not growing, like there's no new growth. So we do have to care for it more carefully, which really should be a reason to be more hesitant about using heat styling, because we should be more careful of potentially damaging it. But anything you can do with the hair that's attached to your head, you could also do with this hair, because that's human hair and this is human hair. So if it's possible to air dry your hair after you get out of the shower, it kind of seems like common sense that it should be possible to air dry this hair also, right? Now, that being said, not every wig is made of high quality hair. Most wigs are made of nice looking hair, but you should make sure before you buy a wig that you do see its natural texture. Most wig stores do not display a wig with its natural texture. Many of them display wigs beautifully blown and styled. And even the factories send them that way when they come to me from the factory. And I design them. I'm not just buying whatever the factory has in stock. I design the wigs. I tell them how to make them. I tell them what to make. They make them for me. They send them to me. I do the finishing work here myself. And then I wash and air dry them, because when they come to me, they're beautifully blown and styled with products in them, and they look different after they're washed. But most companies aren't doing those extra steps. They're just opening them up, take a look at them, make sure everything looks right, stick them on the rack, put them for sale. They don't even know what they're selling. They don't know what they actually look like. And many wig salons don't even know what they actually look like. So make sure, just do your research and ask, can you show it to me air dried? Do you have ones that are just naturally air dried? Can I see what that looks like? And there are ones who accommodate that. And there are salons that do wash and air dry their wigs before they display them. Just make sure you're going to one that has that option. They don't need to show them all like that. It's fine if they don't. If they have 5 of the exact same wig, it's totally fine if they show 4 of them styled in 4 different ways and only 1 of them is naturally air dried. Or even if they just have a picture of it naturally air dried, although it's much better to really be able to see and handle it live. But they should at least be able to show you what it would look like. That you could try one on that's beautifully styled and looks nice. And most hair does look better when it's styled nicely. But then you should also be able to try one on that's air dried and natural, just to know what it looks like. And it's okay if you're going to wear it always styled. There is nothing wrong with that. Look at me, my wig is styled. It's beautiful. I love it. I don't always do that, but once in a while, it feels like a treat when I do, and I'm enjoying it. I just picked this up last night from Mayella. I love what she did to it. I just showed her pictures of what I wanted, and she delivered, and I love it. But you should at least know what it looks like naturally, and you should be okay with that. So, back to the wigs and air drying conversation. Other things a wig is made of. Silk. If you had a silk blouse and you hand washed it, would it be possible to dry it without putting it in the dryer? I would never put a silk blouse in the dryer. I would definitely be hanging that up to air dry. So yeah, that also would work. Nylon. If I had a nylon garment, like, yeah, my brain is going to like stockings, tights, but those are way more delicate, so that's not even a good example. Um, like a stretchy lycra skirt with an elastic waistband. That's like similar materials, like nylon, lycra, elastic. Okay, would I wash and dry that without putting it in the dryer? Yes, I would never put that in the dryer either. I would hang that up to dry. Okay, so yeah, we know that all of these materials can dry without applying heat. So yeah, it is common sense that these things can be air dried. But aside from the common sense aspect, I will tell you, as a wig expert with personal experience, having done many, many, many wigs, that I almost always just air dry them and they come out amazing. All of these on the rack, these are all air dried. These are all natural textures. None of them are blown. None of them are styled. They're all amazing, whether it's waves or curls or straight. Air dried. It works. You could do it. Try it. Now, that being said, as I mentioned before, there are different air dry techniques. So let's say you like a very flat top. So when it's wet, you want to figure out where your part is and just comb it gently. Be very gentle with wet hair because wet hair is stretchier, so it's more prone to breakage. So it's very, very delicate. So comb it just flat and right to the side, nice and flat, basically in the position you want it to dry in, and then it'll dry that way. But let's say you want more volume. If you want a little volume and away from the face, then you would comb it in a diagonal position. Let's say we make a part, comb it this way, and then when it dries, it's going to move forward. It's hair. Hair moves no matter what we do with it, unless we put lots of spray. So it moves so that, you see what happened there? It moved, and that gave it some volume as it came forward. It moved and it bounced a little. This is low density. It could go very flat. I don't want it very flat. So that gave it some volume, a little bit of lift, and also drying it a little bit diagonally keeps it away from the face too. Now let's say you want lots of volume. So you just dry it straight back. You part it after it's dry, and then you really get some really nice oomph. If you feel like it needs more volume than that, or more flatness than that, you could always do just a little bit of styling after it's dry. You don't even need to style the whole thing. We could go over that in styling techniques in a different video, a different time, but yeah, you could always do a little bit of that. Sometimes I do just a little bit, just in the front, just like this, just to bring that forward a little bit, just to like a little bit of volume right there, just at the front. And that's the only styling I do. I don't always do that, but once in a while, I do feel like doing that. So that's all I have for now on the topic of air drying. I hope you learned something today. Please feel free to suggest future topics if you have any requests. I am open to them, and don't forget to subscribe.